We are live.
Yes, we are.
Finally,
Yes, we are.
I am at the Ally Growth Lab. It is less than 1,800 steps from my front door. And up until 2 months ago, I did not even know that this establishment existed. And uh, I'm so glad I found it, because today we're going to have a conversation with Pat Longo. And Pat, you've got a lot of titles.
Yeah. But I'm the president and CEO of Alloy Development, which is an economic development organization in Hamilton County. And I'm also the president and CEO of Alloy Growth Lab, which is our wholly owned subsidiary, which is a business incubator.
Okay, and I have to do a disclaimer, which I've already explained to you, because
Sure.
in doing my research today, I had a fascinating experience with some new technology, a new search engine, Perplexity.ai. It's an AI search engine.
Good.
And I did not believe, well, I have a problem with AI in pure marketing and sales, because
Okay.
I want to deal with a human being with trust, and
Sure.
that doesn't always happen in AI. Well,
Got it.
I anyway, that's a whole another thing. But today, Alloy Growth is a part of the Alloy Development Company.
Mhm.
Alloy Development Company is a incubator.
The Growth Lab is an incubator. The development company is an economic development organization.
Okay, it's an economic development organization. So, good segue into my next statement that, generally speaking, business incubator serves as business catalyst for regional, national, or international development.
Correct.
They can be academic institutions.
Mhm.
They can be nonprofit development.
That's us.
They can be for-profit. They can be for-profit development venture,
Mhm.
or a venture capital firm.
Correct.
Okay, so how would you describe Alloy in all those? Because you're a little bit of a lot of them.
I mean, there's a lot of overlap in those things, but we're an economic development organization. We're not for profit, so we were created to assist in the creation, development, and growth of early stage technology oriented ventures, and we've been doing it since 1989.
Now, when you say Alloy, that's not HCDC or that?
Well, Alloy changed its name 2 years ago to be probably better representation of who we
No,
are.
what I'm saying, HCDC started 18 years ago?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
okay.
HCDC started in 1983.
Okay,
We started the incubator in 1989, and we changed our name 2 years ago due to a merger, and that had to do with one of our programs, the SBA 504 lending program, which we do a lot of. But it allowed us to take a look at our name. And Alloy is the combination of things to make something better or stronger. We feel we're an alloy for entrepreneurship, for businesses, for communities. You know, and we chose Norwood because it's in the center part of Hamilton County many years ago. Purchased these two buildings that were old factories, so they're an urban renewal project. And what has happened is we've grown hundreds of businesses that are now in the community. We have 55 tenants. We have 20 outreach clients who do not leverage the facility, but leverage the coaching. So we've got some really cool stuff going on, and we're part of this environment or this ecosystem, which is.
you're starting to answer a question I'm going to ask later on.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
Yeah, but it's.
Okay, so I didn't know originally how you got the designation of being one of the top 10 incubators in the country. I now know, but why don't you tell us?
Sure. Well, in 2020 and 2021, we took a chance and we applied for to be reviewed for our impact. And it's our impact that why we're one of the top 10 community-focused incubators in the world. There's a grouping for universities, there are venture backed, and then there was this third category, which is focused on your community. That's what we do. We focus on our community. We want to build things here in Southwest Ohio, particularly Hamilton County. That would be great. And by doing that, we have at least over 500 companies that are out there that do, $750 million worth of revenue.
Really?
Yes, and
So it's not just here.
it's not here. It's Blue Ash. It's Sharonville. It's Western Hills. It's Anderson.
And is this the only location for the incubator?
Yes, this is the only location, and it is the only location. It's the only incubator in Greater Cincinnati. Okay, there have been others, but we have survived.
Okay, I ran into a term that I want you to explain, and that I never heard before: universal basic income.
Universal basic income.
That's what UBI stands for.
No, UBI is I don't know.
UBI Global.
Yes.
Well,
It's an institute.
I ran into that term and I didn't know it.
Yeah, it's not that, but
Okay.
it's an
Okay,
institute
so
out of Europe.
You offer comprehensive services,
Mhm.
business incubation, commercial capital lending, economic development support,
Mhm.
and all of these things.
Yeah, meld together we work with hundreds of businesses every year as Alloy. Okay, and the incubator works with probably 120 businesses a year, through our various programs. Anybody that comes in, whether they be a tenant or a client in the facility or an outreach, they get assigned a coach, and that coach works with them one-on-one.
Where did your coaches come from?
Our coaches are people that have been, that have good worldly entrepreneurial experiences.
So they could come outside of your organization.
Sure. Our coaches are employed by us.
Gotcha.
That's what, I'm a coach.
Okay.
And I've coached many businesses. These are folks that are very well connected, very well educated, have been through training to, how to work with a small business, how to work with somebody who's going through technology commercialization, how to help somebody negotiate or work with an angel group. Those are things that we do.
When did the concept of incubator come into play in the United States?
From what I understand, it started in the 50s, 1950s. So, we're
Probably Silicon Valley.
actually, no, it was New York. It was Batavia, New York. And why we're called incubators, it was an egg hatchery or an egg incubator in Batavia.
And I actually know where Batavia is.
Yeah, and it's not, they wanted to figure out how do they use one of this big building that was no longer needed. And they said, hey, why not make it an incubator for business? Ta-da, that's what happened.
That's probably a little known story too.
Those in the industry know it because they are the family that started it. They're now second generation, doing that. They still survive today. So they've been around, but incubators probably started to.
Okay, I figured out why you are where you are, because you do these things. So I would like to mention it and then have you comment about them. Experienced team, decades of experience, having worked with thousands of entrepreneurs. I think you've already kind of answered that already.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about you for a second. And I was going to wait till the end, but I'm going to ask the question now.
Sure.
When was the first time that you went to a Dairy Queen and talked business with your father? I happen to know you like to hang out at Dairy Queen.
I do like to hang out.
What I'm saying is, in your family and your growing up, when did you start to celebrate business? When did you know that business is what you wanted to do?
My dad was part of a team that started a trucking brokerage business many years ago. And I actually worked with him 3 summers when I was in high school and college. And I got to see Dad in a different light. I got to see him running a company, which was pretty cool. And then when I went away to school, I studied finance and studied accounting and got a degree from John Carroll University in finance. Started out in banking and really thought that this was going to be, my 30-plus year career. And probably 6 or 7 years into it, I realized that I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to be
because of the folks that came in to get loans.
Yeah.
You got passionate about their businesses.
I did, and I liked that. And So I took a flyer on HCDC at the time and ran a microloan program, and I was able to coach businesses. And we had a program that was kind of struggling, and we worked on it to get that struggling nature out. And what we did was we tried this new technique called business coaching, and now it's throughout the entire organization of Alloy. Our economic development folks do some coaching. Our lenders do some coaching. Our incubator does some coaching. Our office of small business does some coaching. All of these things. It's now become just a kind of a part of our backbone.
Well, you then had kind of segued into my next tailored programming. Alloy emphasizes one-to-one coaching with startup catalysts.
Mm-hmm.
You don't mention that proven track record. This is probably inaccurate. Clients of Alloy have raised a cumulative sum of over $400 million in funding. That's probably a low figure.
It's probably a little bit low, but it's not. It's not wrong. We've helped. I mean,
it's AI. It's AI.
Yeah, that's actually a number I know that I personally have helped companies.
Of course you do, because
Yeah, I did it. I'm 28 years here. And I probably averaged close to helping companies raise between $15 and $20 million a year. So 28 times 15 is going to get you to 420.
You get there.
If you go the next.
I love it.
If you go the
we
next.
We just mapped your life.
Yeah, those kinds of things. So,
okay, local economic impact. Alloy serves as the Economic Development Office of Hamilton County, indicating strong impact. You're local. It's about being local. You mentioned it a couple times already.
Oh, sure. I mean, you got the name Hamilton County was in the original name, so we really focused a lot on Hamilton County. But we've been funded from the state of Ohio for many years, so that gets us that Southwest Ohio feel. And that's what's important. And as we've grown our relationships, we do things in Butler County, we do things in Warren and Claremont. With the incubator, we will coach. We work. That's that outreach. They don't have to come to Norwood. They could be in Batavia, they could be in Mason, they could be in Hamilton.
And thanks to the computer, basically, right? I mean, it's a lot of online stuff.
We can do it online, we can do it on phone, or they do come down and visit, or we can go and see them too. So it does make for good programming.
University partnership. You have a partnership with the University of Cincinnati.
We have a strong partnership with UC. We got a good,
Chuck Matthews has been a longtime friend of mine.
Chuck's been a friend of ours, and Kate Harmon took over for Chuck. Chuck's 47 years at UC, and that's fantastic. But Kate's now running.
You know what this year is the 26th anniversary of the Center for Entrepreneurship that he started 26 years ago.
Yeah, and that works a lot with the 1819 building over on Reading Road. Kate Harmon is the person who's the director of that. Works, in the College of Business, works in 1819, works a lot with their technology commercialization. So, we've had the number one feeder of entrepreneurial talent to our incubator is the University of Cincinnati. That has been, by far, but, I don't want to discount, we have good relationships with Miami and Xavier, just outside this window is Xavier University. So we have worked really well with that institution as well. But our focus has been on technology, has been a lot on engineering. And that's where that relationship with UC has really come into play.
Focus on investment grade business. Alloy specifically aims to help serious startups. Okay, let's go dig into that a little bit. What's the process for somebody that wants to start a business? How do they do it? They have to probably have a pretty good idea before they ever come and talk to you about it.
Probably, but we're not the only asset in town. You could leverage a small business development center. You could leverage SCORE. You could leverage UC or Xavier or Miami, and they have programs too. What we really look to do is look to see how do we help you implement your plan. That's what Alloy Growth Lab really focuses its energies on.
And that uniqueness is the tenants creating, taking care of their office space in there.
It's a client who is building a robot that's going to go into the sewer system. It's a polymer chemist who's looking to do a high temperature polymer that's going to go into a braking system for an airplane. It's someone that does the trigonometry, for a satellite, so that when it has a telescope, how does it locate where it wants to focus on so that it can center on, because things move.
Well, this is coming from Norwood,
This is all
Ohio,
Yeah, Hamilton
1,800
County.
steps from where I live.
Yeah, no, all those kinds of things are real successful. And two of those three have graduated from here, and one's just north of the Norwood Lateral, and the other one's up in Blue Ash.
And talk about the graduation process. You establish a timeline with the company when they.
Yeah, it's when they start to reach more of their long-term goals. You know, so we come in and we evaluate short-term, mid-term, and long-term. You know, we want to have early wins because we want to celebrate that. And how are we starting to grow? And something we want for all of our companies is for them to grow to be over 7 figures in revenue, so over $1 million. You know, that's key. We'd love for them to be 10 employees or greater. It doesn't always happen, but those are some of the targets that we look to get out there.
And I mean, that's what you do. You help those companies reach those levels of growth and development.
Yes.
You want to kick them out because that means they're successful.
Well, it's kind of funny that you create a business model where the best that you create, you graduate. It's a lot like high school. Boy, if I had a varsity football team, I got a whole good group of seniors and they have a great year, they're going to graduate and matriculate to the next part of their life. Same thing here. We want to bring in a whole bunch of freshmen, percolate them, stimulate them, work with them so that they become the seniors who graduate and go on to the next.
And I'm sure that your communication with those folks does not end once they leave the building.
No,
they know the good stuff they got out of from the building.
I've had companies that come back and leverage our coaches or want to run an idea. Hey, I want to acquire something. Hey, I need some growth capital.
What is the largest company that got their start at the incubator with you?
We've got several that are in the tens of millions of dollars. We've got a company called Public School Works that works with school districts on their physical infrastructure and how they can maintain that so that they don't always have to rebuild. How do they keep their systems working better? That's a great company. We actually had a company, one that got away, but they didn't get a start here, and they were UC Technology. They're now on NASDAQ. They're called Precigen. It's not a big stock price, but they're around $2 a share. But when you tally up, they probably do $100 million a year in revenue. Okay, and maybe soon. And they're in they're in like genomics. Okay, I don't know much about genomics, but I helped them get started. And that was kind of cool.
You know what? It's such a pleasure to talk with you and then watch the smile on your face as you share what you do, because there's no question you're passionate about what you do.
But it's fun because I spent 20 plus years in the incubator, but I'm also passionate about we've reworked our lending program, and we're now this year we have $47 million of new approvals in our lending program. If I told you we have 2 months left, we're already 10 million more than any year we'd ever done before.
Wow.
Okay, we've got good people. Boom is right. We got really good people. John Main runs that program for us, and he's getting, we've resurrected, some really good things there, and look to see how do we grow.
Okay. A question as I was, and I think you've kind of started to answer this question. The information, the services that Alloy Growth Lab does are available to folks anywhere.
Well, we would love for them to be in Ohio. Okay, we have had some.
Well, they could they could.
They could come.
They could say, "I want to spend this much money and be involved."
Sure. We want early stage, doing something innovative, solving a problem, and you want to scale. Okay, so that you're going to say, are those the criteria? Those are the 3 main criteria to get into the incubator. So hey, you can have a plan, but you know what? People don't write plans anymore. They really use a PowerPoint.
I love you. I'm actually, for the first time in my life in the last couple of years, I'm writing a business plan. It's amazing. I mean, I get the job done, but get it done, but now there's a plan on what do you have to do to get it done. And quite honestly, I can say this because I've been doing this stuff for 53 years.
Mhm.
It's tougher to be in business today than it was when I first started publishing, and
Mhm.
it's a different ballgame, and I see it from. I mean, I have probably spoken with 100 companies in Cincinnati
Mhm.
about what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do. We'd like to collaborate with what I'm doing, so I'm getting a feel for. But it's amazing
Mhm.
how different the business environment, and I have to believe that maybe some of that was the pandemic that changed all of our lives. Uh,
No, I think what's changed starting a business and technology, the internet, you're having a conversation and this can go out to anybody, you know. I think the idea of AI and how that helps you research, you can, if leveraged properly, it can help you learn. It doesn't, it helps you think, it doesn't make decisions. Okay. And I think that's what's key about AI. But the internet being kind of a great equalizer.
Do you have any AI technology companies in
We
here?
have companies that are leveraging AI as part of they are not competing with Google or Apple or Microsoft. No, that's not. How do they leverage it to help their.
Google's trying to figure out where they. It's funny you mentioned Google. They're trying to, because I'm totally Google technology,
Mhm.
so it's amazing the things that they're throwing
Sure.
at me, and how does it change the way that I do business with them. I've been a solid Google customer for probably about 15 years now.
Yeah, and the chat bot that is on your screen and your website.
How to get rid of it?
Yeah, you'd like to, but it also can help you find as you did research and you were dealing with this AI tool that you made a disclaimer on. I mean, yeah, you do need to fact check. You do need to look into make sure that it's appropriate, but it doesn't make decisions for you. Okay.
Well,
You still.
it as an efficiency tool, there's no greater tool.
Oh,
No,
it's wonderful because it's like a search engine on steroids where you tell it and give it the instructions.
about a year ago, I had an AI conversation with a woman who is absolutely an industry leader in what she does. She is the expert. She and I have been live streaming for 16 years. Okay. And we started talking about it, and her point was, David, I just used it and it helped me to organize some of my thoughts. I said, well, that's pretty interesting, but from a marketing and once again, a marketing and sales value, I threw out the red flag because you have to trust the source that
Mhm.
you're getting your information
That's why you have to evaluate. It's like
from. And I'll bet P&G is fighting folks left and right about a better soap bar than P&G does.
yeah. I mean, there are competitive advantages. Is how it get harnessed. Do I think we're an expert? No. Do we have people?
But there's no question it as an efficiency tool.
Mhm.
Well, our mind
As
can
a
only hold so
preparation
much
tool.
information.
Oh, sure. I mean, you're going to meet a new person. You go to LinkedIn and you look up and you get 5-7 data points on somebody, and that's fantastic. You go and see a company. You could use AI.
Offline, I'll tell you it's about somebody I met on LinkedIn last week, which is most incredible. We'll talk about it offline.
Sure, no. But how you leverage that information? Again, I still have to communicate with those folks.
I'll tell you what, though, about LinkedIn. Every time I do a posting,
Mhm.
they say, well, they're trying to get me to use their AI, and I've tried it out, and
Sure.
and they don't. And the two thing or a couple things I've thrown at them, they don't. It hasn't expanded my thinking. So, but once again, I've been doing this for a while, so maybe I'm
Sure. Yeah. Again, it's how you use it. It's a point of reference. It's a it assembles data points for you, but you have to evaluate those data points.
Okay. I have a special offer that I would like to make available to any uh, alloy development client,
Mhm.
basically in this building, that I would be complimentary. I would like to come in and spend a day and meet with as many of your folks who want to
Mhm.
have this conversation about the marketing and sales value, trust that their business brings, and we'll do a live stream. And they will be, I'll use it, I'll put it on YouTube, and I'll give them the URL, and they can use it for whatever market. So that, I'm making that available. I'd love to do it.
We appreciate that, because
Okay, and
because we get lots of people.
I asked you about Dairy Queen. I had
Well,
read about
actually, yeah.
Do you know who owns Dairy Queen?
Is it her?
Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
He bought Dairy Queen for $600 million in 1996.
Okay.
Still owns it.
Yeah, and what's cute? Why you bring up Dairy Queen? It was one of my dad's favorite as he got older in life. He loved to go and have a Blizzard, and
Who doesn't? Who wouldn't?
Who wouldn't? And all sorts. And every Saturday I would, when my dad was in his assisted living, he, God bless him, he's in heaven now, but he had dementia. But that was something that was very, it reminded him of
I went through that with my mother, dementia, all of that.
And we'd had those conversations, and it went real well. And it was sort of like having breakfast.
And you told me when you first started to celebrate business, and thank you for getting involved.
Yeah.
The world, entrepreneurs and small business, they need more folks with your kind of mindset, because you do it right. You do it with passion. You do it with learning and coaching and teaching.
Sure.
One of your quotations, when I read a story about you, coaching really has been a differentiator for us. Are we asking the right questions, and are we listening?
Sure. I think that's key.
And then it's taking the next step.
Yeah, those are two things.
I've asked you if I can use that quote, because that's what it's all about.
For us, yes.
That's what it's all about. Okay, one final question.
Okay.
If there is a guitar in this building, would you go get it and do a Garth Brooks song for us?
Well, I don't know how to play guitar, but I
love Garth Brooks.
But I do love Garth Brooks, and he's got The Dance is a beautiful song, and
But you don't play the guitar?
I do not. Two of a Kind, working on a Full House. That those are fun, and Leaving Baton Rouge. Those are just songs that that get me. I like. Why do I like him? He's a storyteller, and
it's about the story, isn't it?
It's about the story, and I like that Alloy has lots of stories, and we get chances to tell them. And the 3 or 4 songs I just gave you are all different.
I have spent my entire life telling and sharing stories. That's what I do.
It's how people connect. It is how people connect, and that storytelling piece and economic development. It's an important thing, and I hope that Greater Cincinnati gets really good at storytelling, because we've got lots of really good stories to tell.
A question for you. As I was preparing and thinking about our conversation today, is this something that I should maybe think? My target is 386 MSAs in this country, metropolitan statistical areas, defined by Wikipedia, that we're using their definition. And what I've been developing and working on here in Cincinnati, I'm ready to do it in any market.
Oh, sure. Those kinds of things are key. How do you grow? How do you, hey, I'm here in Cincinnati. Do I go to Dayton? Do I go to Louisville? Do I go to Nashville? Where's the best?
What I'm saying, I would love to talk with other incubators in other markets.
Yeah, there are, and
you probably have friends. You're probably the president of the association.
No. In Ohio, I was 4 times, but but those kinds of things are fine. But yeah, you look and you see, because people say, hey, we should have an incubator in every community. They aren't inexpensive, and it does take really good people to run them. And
well, there's a we'll lease you some space, and you take your space. We'll have someone will answer the phone for all. That's only part of the story.
And you need a sponsor. For us, thank you to the state of Ohio for being a sponsor for many years. That has allowed us to do the good things that we've done for many years and build. I think that's very, very valuable. That's why a lot of incubators kind of go away, because their sponsor may lose interest, or doesn't believe in the mission, or doesn't see the ROI. The ROI around here, And so it's easy to learn what goes on. Not everything here is going to be a rocket ship, but you know what? They may be a 5, 7, 10 person business. Those are good businesses. Hamilton County has almost 28,000 businesses, and well over 90% of them have 10 employees or less. Okay. So that's really.
Actually, you're raising another issue that I've been thinking about. I believe that there are millions and millions of solopreneurs like myself.
Mm-hmm.
I have been a solopreneur for most of my life.
Sure.
And the pandemic created lots and lots of new solopreneurs.
Oh, absolutely.
And I would love to maybe figure out how we could do this kind of thing for
Sure.
solopreneurs.
Well, you're probably reached out. I mean, we're not a solo. This Alloy Growth Lab, we work with things that want to grow. Okay, but we did start something.
No, what I'm saying is that the same kind of service can be made. Of course, you can get the SBA promotes the mentorship score and all of that.
And there are other business assistants.
But
I do the quotations.
You involvement with Alloy is more hands-on than it's.
Yeah, but you know what? Score's hands-on. SBDC,
Of course, well,
they're all hands-on.
They do it for the passion because they
deal with different types. Score and the SBDC may see more 1 to 5 person businesses. They may see more Main Street businesses. They're going to see a restaurant. They're going to see a retail.
I'll say whoever needs assistance.
They might see a bar or a pub, and you know what? Those are needed. That sort of thing. And they may also deal with the technology-oriented venture. And we may tag team. Because this organization is set up that if there are others in your world that you want to leverage, we'll work with you with that, because that's part of your team or your kitchen cabinet. Hey, they sit around this table with you. I'm not looking to replace them. I'm looking to enhance that relationship. That's what Alloy's really trying to do.
That's what entrepreneurship is all about.
Yeah,
that's the definition of.
It's all about that. So, but no, this is great.
Well, thank you for sharing your intellectual property with us today.
Sure.
It's wonderful, and I'm so happy that before I actually leave Cincinnati, that I found 1,800 Steps Away a fascinating concept and something that any way I can help or why I showed you one way that I might be able to do it. Thank you.
This is great.
It's a great thing.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
And folks, if you have any questions about anything that you heard today, certainly contact me and I'll get in touch with Pat.
Or if you want to go to our website.
Pardon me?
If they want to go to our website, alloydev.org, ALLOYDEV.org. And that gives you, that opens you up to the whole world of who we are.
But you can't go wrong if you get involved with Pat Long, because he won't let you go around.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And we will see you soon.